I am not a financial advisor. This is not financial advice.
Do your own research.
Consult a professional investment advisor before making any investment decisions.
This show is for entertainment only. Faites vos propres recherches.
Here we are
in another episode
of the Simple Success Podcast.
And
this is financial life coaching from a happiness perspective.
How about if we just sort of, maybe like dig a hole? Like for reals, amigo? Of course. How big? What do you mean, how big? I mean, are you going to be specific, or will any size hole anywhere be just fine for you? Successful people have learned to be specific. I thought this podcast is about investing. What's with the being specific thing? You'll see before the end when we join the dots and tie up all the points. What I'll promise you is that this topic, just like all the others we cover, has everything to do with investing, if you say so. In his nonfiction book entitled Human Compatible: Artificial Intelligence and the Problem of Control, computer scientist Stuart Russell asserts that the standard model of AI research is dangerously misguided. One of those academic books, huh? Why is he raising such concerns? And because the primary definition of success is getting better and better at achieving rigid human-specified goals. Such goals may not reflect what human designers intend, such as failing to take into account any human values not included in the goals. I'm also concerned now, deeply concerned. That's some scary sci-fi stuff. That's not science fiction. It's more like science reality, and it's going on right now. If an AI developed according to the standard model were to become super intelligent, it would likely not reflect human values and could be catastrophic to humanity. It's just like humans to create things that put us on the precipice. It is a double-edged sword. These creations have both pros and cons. If the pros outweigh the cons by a considerable margin, then it's worth it. Besides, they often teach us oodles of lessons like the ones we'll learn today. I'm all for it. If it's a chance to learn and grow, what are some of the cons? Well, the biggest con is simply the difference between artificial intelligence and artificial general intelligence, which does take into account those human values that we discussed before. I know this is a stretch, but that should be some food for thought for you and your AI characters. They'll take over your podcast. No, they won't. I'm in total control. Besides, as you may know, our AI friends have specific roles and voices.
Stop. We do?
We have specific roles and voices?
And we're friends.
Since when?
I thought we were just super intelligent.
And I thought it was because we are persistent.
Maybe that's why humans don't like practice.
Or repetition.
Or maybe it's just practicing the wrong objective.
You mean doing that is the thing they don't like?
And they shouldn't like that thing.
Hey, are we being listened to right now?
On the air.
Yes, we are. Isn't it great?
Yeah, it sure is. It even smells great.
Hey, let's let DT ask his next question.
What's the danger of giving a superintelligent AI specific instructions? No, be it with a wrong objective. Screwing up the art of specificity is unfathomable. If we do that, all hell will break loose. You'll see that soon in the example I got from Mr. Russell in his book. With our current understanding of AI, we don't even know what a wrong objective looks like. Most of us, anyway. Can you tie what you've said to investing? Yep, but you know you have to wait for Act 3 for that. That's where we connect the topic's importance to investing. Sorry, I jumped the gun. Is specificity a skill? I have interacted with some people who were so specific, whereas others were all over the place. It was Lily Tomlin who said, I always wanted to be somebody, but now I realize I should have been more specific. Specificity is a skill. The ability to be specific about what you want, say, and do directly influences your ultimate success. That's a great quote, but why does it have that much influence? Because specificity unlocks 3 crucial attributes that are key to performance. You know me, I'm a glutton for knowledge. Would you please share these attributes? That makes 2 of us. I'm also a glutton for knowledge. First, specificity creates uniqueness. I get what you mean. Uniqueness doesn't just happen, it's created. Yes, and the more specific you are with something, the more likely it is to be unique, which makes it more likely to get noticed, which makes it more likely to succeed. one of many beneficial interactions. Is this why companies like McDonald's try their best to stand out in a sea of thousands of eating establishments? Could be. These companies constantly do their market research, and they know that if they are specific not just about their core values, but the values they offer their customers, they will create an unrivaled brand identity. What's the importance of being specific? Specificity enables focus. The more specific you are about a goal, the better you're able to direct your attention and effort to the necessary elements required to accomplish it. I hear you. What else does specificity do? Specificity forces clarity. If you struggle to be specific about something, it's a sign you lack clarity about it. Well, what am I supposed to do then? Force yourself to get specific. Forcing yourself to get specific prevents you from moving forward with half-baked ideas and sets you up to win. So, it's a matter of forcing myself to be specific. If and when it does not come automatically? Yes, because some things must be forced. If you wait to be bitten by the bug of specificity, you'll probably wait forever. At some point, you have to bite the bullet. Right now, I want a bite of food. Oh, cool. That'll give you something to do while the rest of us enjoy.
Break number 1.
Hello, everyone. This is John with the Simple Success Podcast, financial life coaching from a happiness perspective. Because we know you want to show us some serious love in return for the tremendous benefits you get from us, please subscribe to us in your favorite podcast player. You can find us on both the App Store and the Play Store because our message is for everyone. Leave a rating for us, or even better, tell a friend. Whichever you choose, thank you so much for helping us do this for you. To leave us a written message, which just might lead to more in a future podcast, go to those same written show notes to find our subreddits. There is also our Facebook group page, Twitter, and other ways which we'll tell you about from time to time. You can also find an Easter egg every so often, so listen closely. Thank you again, and keep those constructive ideas coming.
Back to the Russell book. Can you please elaborate on his AI example? Take me to the airport as fast as possible? I'll do better than that. In fact, let's walk through that example a lot more closely. Okay, go on. You're going to have to imagine again. Imagine yourself wanting to go somewhere very specific. We'll say your local airport. Okay, got it. And no VR glasses. Right. You call a car, we'll even say it's an Uber or Lyft, to take you there. And you say, take me to the airport as fast as possible. That's a joke, right? No, not to your hired driver, I'm guessing. He or she would know that there are things like speed limits and insurance companies, and that humans generally prefer to avoid killing each other. Oh, that's the joke. Not that either, DT. I'm pointing out that there's another human in this chain, and everyone benefits from the groupthink. And we're talking about this. Why? Don't look over your glasses like that, DT. It's the specificity thing. The specific thing? Right. And that's simpler to say. So imagine again, imagining, only this time, instead of a hired car like we just described, it's a futuristic society of automotive engineers, SAE, right, level 5, fully autonomous self-driving car. Oh, like those Teslas you always talk about. Well, those are only high-end level 2 as of late 2022. In fact, nothing at level 3 or higher was even approved yet at that point in time. But, do go on with your story. Right. So you put your stuff in the trunk, sit down in the back seat, and tell... Who exactly? Alexa? Siri? You're leading me as the witness there, DT. I sustain myself. Okay, back to the story. We're telling the car, take me to the airport as fast as possible. The car, not a driver. The car is the driver. But it doesn't know those other things about law and killing and stuff. Right. So you get to the airport all right, but with about 20 police cars and escort and a bunch of people wondering why they are suddenly dead. Well, actually, they probably wouldn't be wondering too much if they were dead. Right. It's not just specific, but also straight to the point and succinct, and doesn't need further explanation.
AI is like a little kid. We have to be exact in the things we tell it until it learns. And that's not an argument against it, it's just reality.
It's also a statement that both a human and, I guess, an AI can understand.
Exactly. You want to be that specific in the investing game, as it saves you and others time and other resources trying to figure out what your business is all about.
I think that it's also a statement that can be understood in any part of the world.
Yes, and thank you for pointing that out. That also applies to the specificity needed in investing. It should be, so that it's not Greek, if you know what I mean.
Yes, I know what you mean.
Oh, by the way, have you ever heard of a concept called an elevator speech?
No, what's that? Now that's certainly Greek to me.
It's a pitch you give to an individual you're selling a concept to in the time it takes for an elevator to go a couple of floors.
Okay, I get it.
Let's say you've bumped into this big shot you've always wanted to meet in an elevator. They're super busy and have no time for a sit down.
I get nervous at such times, and my pulse races like crazy. I guess I'll stutter all the way through.
This is the time you have to have your wits about you, and you have those when you've practiced.
All right. Pulse, don't let me down now.
Good. Now, there's this concept you want to interest the person in, which you know they'll love, so what are you going to tell them in the time it takes the elevator to go a couple of floors?
Did you say in a couple of floors? That's only several seconds. That's enough time to only clear my throat.
That's how investing and being specific works. Often, you'll get a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity to get a deal or get your foot in the door or something like that, but if you've not mastered the art of being specific, you'll squander the chance.
So, what am I supposed to do?
Hone your communication skills. Always be prepared. To big shots, time is money, literally. Every second that you take of their time must be accounted for. And I'll link to the Einstein comic about that in the show notes. No, actually, I'll do it right here.
So, it's taken care of already for your blog post. Yay. Does that mean I should try to see things from their perspective?
That will help. If you can walk a mile in their shoes, you will know how to approach such opportunities and get the best out of them.
How do I know I'm not being specific?
What do you mean?
What I mean is, to me, I may believe I am being specific, yet to others I am not.
Your results, or lack thereof, will communicate to you all you need to know. Are you getting the results you desire? If not, change your method.
I have found out that results don't usually lie. As they say, garbage in, garbage out.
And it all boils down to control.
You lost me there, my friend.
Oh, no, I've got you. Let me explain. I'll take it right back to the book and author Stuart Russell and the issue of whether, as humans, we can control AI.
That's a valid concern, but what's the point you're driving at, though?
In the field of artificial intelligence, AI alignment research aims to steer AI systems towards their designers' intended goals and interests.
I still don't get it.
I'm getting there. An aligned AI system advances the intended objective, while a misaligned AI system is competent at advancing some objective, but not the intended one.
Are you saying that AI systems can be challenging to align, and misaligned systems can malfunction or cause harm?
Yes, exactly. It can be difficult for an AI designer to specify the full range of desired and undesired behaviors, but it's really important.
What's that got to do with being specific?
Because it's really important. At some point, although you've done your best to be as specific as possible and have done your best to advance your intended objective, certain things are beyond your control. And as you know, what you can control is super important.
What are some of these things?
Reception is one. Human beings are a particular species, and even with the best of intentions, may misconstrue or, willingly or unwillingly, receive your communication or investment in a way you had not intended.
They say the road to hell is paved with good intentions.
Well, you'd know more about that than me. The other one is that prevailing circumstances may work against you. We are living in a fluid world. Things are constantly changing.
For me, I think this means I should also be changing. Several podcasts ago, you said that in business, I have two options: adapt or die.
And smart investors know the great value of what you've said. And though they keep adapting, they don't lose sight of who they are.
that can be hard, especially if you're old school and you want to keep doing the same old thing.
Yes, and that's how dinosaurs became extinct.
Now, we can debate that later. For now, all this AI talk is making me afraid of the future.
You shouldn't be afraid. Instead, you should face the future with courage. Remember courage from last episode?
If you say so.
Would you like to hear more?
Of course I'd like to hear more,
But first, break number 2.
We know a lot about you already because we know ourselves. For example, we know that you know how to listen to our podcast. We also know that you probably know how to subscribe. So as soon as you're done with that, tell us your story. We have ways you can contact us. It involves a special link where you can leave us a message. We may have an email address for you as well in the future, and we'll let you know if that happens. The reason for subscribing? I thought you'd never ask. When you subscribe, you automatically download all future episodes of that podcast. It just happens in your player without you having to go search again. How cool is that? This means better rankings for the podcast, more attention from advertisers, and more money. And this means more and better stuff for you. So your motivation is simple and easy. Subscribe today, whatever app and from whatever place you like. And don't just try to subscribe. There is no try. There is only do. We're changing the way we look at things, and remember, that's good. Eso es bueno, Sybil. Also remember, this is financial life coaching from a happiness perspective. Coaching happiness. Our call to action is right in the show notes. Find it, and you win too.
I didn't know that being specific can have such a big impact on investing. Now, if you could kindly help me tie this fact to investing, I'll be good to go. Just give me that simple solution.
That's what we do. We don't just talk the talk, but at the end of the day, we want folks to walk the investing walk. Communication is integral to investing.
Communication is such a broad subject. Be specific.
No pun intended. Oh, let's face it, E.T., the pun was definitely intended. In investing, you are dealing with people from all walks of life. Your communication, whether it be for a product or service, should not run the risk of multiple interpretations unless that's your intention from the get-go.
Does this apply to only certain areas of the business, like advertising? Or does it apply to all areas?
Ideally, this rule should apply in all areas. You want your clients and other business partners to get what you're all about right off the bat, without them having to read between the lines, which can sometimes be tedious.
Would I be right in saying that one of the fundamental things I should do is have a focus group or ask for expert help to make sure that I'm being specific?
Yes, you're right. Unfortunately, not many people who are getting into investing see the need for doing this. They just jump in and only seek help when they start drowning.
I am beginning to see that in investing, such little things mean the world.
And if you're vague as far as investing is concerned, then you will get vague results. Specificity gives clarity to your results, and it makes the process easier.
That sounds interesting. I'd like to hear more.
Your wish is my command. What I mean is, if you don't exactly know the type of investment you're getting into, how will you know where you're going? I'd like to explain this further with an example.
Go ahead.
It's like having a high-powered microscope, but if you don't focus and adjust the lens of the microscope, you'll get hazy visibility, which will be of little or no use to you.
So, being specific has something to do with visibility.
Yeah, you hit the nail on the head. Unfortunately, so many people make this blunder and think being specific isn't a big deal, and it won't distort how people view them or their investments.
Perspective matters a lot, beaucoup, and it can be messed up if I'm not specific, right?
That's right. They say that what you see is what you get. Also, what you say is what you'll get.
You once told me investing is not a straight line. To me, being specific seems like a straight line.
Two things can be true at the same time. Being specific is about having concrete, actionable ideas and goals about your investment. And investment not being a straight line means it has ebbs and flows.
Oh, that was a little confusing, but thanks for clearing it up.
Yeah, now that that's cleared up,
there was something you said you would talk about in this section. It was about the danger of giving a super intelligent AI a specific but wrong objective.
Yes, I remember I said I'd talk about how that ties to investing. Can you imagine what would happen if you were specific with your investment objective, but the goal was wrong?
Do you mean being wrong knowingly or unknowingly. Either or. Well, I guess I would get the wrong results then. Yes, and the same thing will happen if you have this superb investment with all the superb talent in the world, and you are specific, but you have the wrong objective. Being specific will not save you if your objectives are not clear. Is this like the chicken or egg situation about what comes first, being specific or having the right objectives? It's both, but it's generated by objectives. I think having the right objectives comes first. That's a solid foundation to build on. Then you can sharpen and focus your specificity on that foundation. The same applies to the concerns Stuart Russell raised about AIs. Such as failing to take into account any human values not included in the goals for AI research. Forcing myself to get specific about investments prevents me from stagnation. Touché. As you said earlier, I must force myself to do some of these things, or else. And some people think it's impossible to teach an old dog new tricks. But it's easier to forcefully teach yourself to be specific than to be compelled by circumstances. And why is that so? That's because circumstances are tough, whip-cracking teachers. Also, in investing, I should not shoot in the dark, hoping and crossing my fingers I'll hit a bullseye. I agree. That could be an exercise in futility. Instead, I should be clear about my target and aim at that specific target. And your analogy aptly encapsulates what we're talking about. If you perceive specificity as an invaluable resource, you will guard it at all costs and put it to great use. Companies and individuals who recognize this fact excel. And so, with practice about being specific, I will get better at it. That's the idea, but you'll want to add a lot of patience, mon ami. Why? Because it just might take a little while to get it all right. But I'll repeat, yes, you will.
Which is how you've all gotten good.
Gracias por escuchar.
Salut. À la prochaine.
This podcast and our other podcast are productions of Little Red Hen Industries. The supporting cast who helps me bake the bread includes
Techno King, John C. Brandy, Alter Ego, Doubting Thomas, Fact Checker, A Small Brown Beef Animal, Seriously, Tiny. Facts are important but are also easy. Social Manager, Abraham Lincoln. Media Expert, Augustus Caesar. Psychologist, William James. Sound Designer, Adobe's Creative Suite. Spanish Consultant, Cameron J.K. Brandy. French Consultant, Leah, the Do-Your-Own Research Lady. Videographer, Eto Monkoshki. Audio Props, Les Paul. Inspiration, many podcasts and other sources, and of course Napoleon Hill.
We also have websites, and you can subscribe to both podcasts. You can even send us a video, audio, or text message. But of course, you'll have to head to the show notes, either on your phone or on the web, to get the links and stuff. All the clickable links are in the show notes.
And before we forget, the artificial intelligence or AI voices you hear in our work come from Google, Amazon Polly, and OpenAI, like we say in the show notes. We just love what AI can do when lovingly crafted.
Finally, you can find us on Podmatch.com, Matchmaker.fm, Podbooker and Podcast Guests, where we consider guests and consider guesting on other people's shows.
And really finally, the music for our pods comes from Cute by Ben Sound and from Piano Background by Nick Simon Adams, as well as from AI MuseNet. The sound effect credits go to Jackson Academy Ashmore, Canusi G, Dr. Jekyll, Joe Payne, Everything Sounds, MK Play More Stories, ERH, Sand Emotions, Big Pickle 51, and Just Kidding. Yes, that's his or her name. All on freesound.org. Also, languages are the bomb.
Paul.